So let's go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:07. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from September 11th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Are you not going to say something?
No.
Well, I will. Will you just make note on number 2 in the minutes?
Sure.
That Steve can't make the motion and second it both?
Okay. I thought you could.
Well,
I tried.
I was gonna check Robert's on that.
I couldn't hold you that.
Frisk made a motion to approve the minutes of August 28th, seconded by Frisk and carried by Frisk. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. All right, well, looks like this and that will second it.
all right, are there any other corrections or discussion?
None that I can see.
Okay, hearing none, then all those in favor of approving the minutes of September 11th, 2018 with that one correction signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? We need to add, under correspondence, law enforcement, which you all got a copy of. Anything else? All right, and hearing none, let's move into the warrants.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 1 out of the payroll in the amount of $8,845.12.
Second?
Is there any discussion?
Yes. At the last meeting, we discussed Ed Smith's early clock-ins. They've continued for the last 2 weeks, another hour each week. He's got 41 and 41. So how do you want to handle this?
I told him to come later.
So,
He doesn't want the 1 hour, it just happens to work out that way. He gets here early.
so do we need to put a sign over the clock as to what time he should be punching in? And then we tell Eileen not to pay the hour overtime unless somebody approves it?
Yes.
Okay, and then we're gonna take the 3 hours of straight time away. He didn't work it.
Did he get paid for it?
Yes, you did.
Oh, he did?
2 hours of overtime.
Yeah.
It's actually 3 hours, but 2 hours since we last spoke.
I told him not to come so early, because I come like 5 over 10 sometimes, and
So how would you like to handle it?
I'll put a sign by the clock. Do not clock in until 5 up, or 5 o'clock on the news or whatever.
And what about the hours?
And well, you're gonna have to take the hours away, because he didn't work the hours and didn't expect the hours.
So can Craig take care of that for us?
How many, you figure it was 3 straight hours?
It's 2 hours of time and a half pay.
2 hours, okay. So we need to take care of it the next payroll.
Well, she looked at it and what he wrote down, though, it's. if you-
Okay, so Kurt's gonna put up a sign at the garage. And I'm gonna tell Elaine to basically modify the next payroll, which will be next Monday.
Right, to deduct those 2 hours of 3 straight hours.
3 straight
essentially.
hours,
3
okay.
straight hours.
Okay.
And then the other question would be, if there is a clock in that is unusual, in other words, it's a normal day.
Right.
Should we instruct Elaine to work from 8 o'clock, or 8 o'clock?
No.
From the punch in from the 7?
6.
6, okay. So we instruct her to do that, in other words, override the time clock. That's the
Yeah, see, the
question.
problem is you got a time clock policy, and then the reason you got away from the handwritten stuff is that even though it was 6 to 2:30.
Trust us, yeah.
Well, it wasn't that, it was,
We wrote down 6 to 2:30, we were there all the time, well, before that, whatever, so. I know what else there is.
so the time clock policy is basically state policy, which if the 5 minutes either way makes the 15 minutes either way kind of thing. So she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. And it's hard for her to kind of override it.
Right.
Say, well, if you're gonna get just straight 8 hours, might as well put everybody on salary kind of thing, so.
I will put it in the sign there, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah, okay. But
Okay, anything else?
maybe have a look at it
This
before you
is
glance
new,
at it.
because that's been coming early ever since he started.
I think that we just noticed the overtime that was starting to come in, and possibly it's because he's been taking time off, so you're seeing that extra hour.
I see.
It just kind of sticks out.
And Arnold is doing the same thing.
Arnold comes in early also. He comes in
Very
like a
early.
half hour early, 45 minutes early.
Right.
But there's
So-
nothing to do half an hour early. That's,
It's 2 to
You know what
6.
but, you know, he has now, that people are trained to come in early, because
Yeah.
Arnold comes in early, because they're there, because Arnold's there.
But we're budgeted for a certain amount of hours.
We have posted hours, those are the hours.
I will tell Arnold to.
Okay, is there anything else that, one more? All right, if there's no other discussion, then all those in favor of paying payroll warrant number 1 in the amount of $8,845.12, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 2 out of the payroll tax, amount of $3,452.28.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll tax warrant number 2 in the amount of $3,452.28, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 3 out of general fund, the amount of $627,825.90.
Second.
Is there any discussion? That was the school payment that we were discussing the last time. All right.
Up almost 26,000.
Much higher than last year's payment.
26,000 over last year per quarter.
Okay, so all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 3 in the amount of $627,825.90, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Did you vote? You abstained. Okay, then I'll vote in the affirmative. Motion passes. You can't really not pay
Well,
it.
that's where your vote came in. Make a motion to pay check warrant number 4 out of the general fund, the amount of $250.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 4 in the amount of $250, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
The only person with kids in the system.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 5 out of the highway fund, the amount of $12,672.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway fund warrant number 5 in the amount of $12,672, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 6 out of the equipment fund, the amount of $6,809.58.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
There's a hold label on there, attention Kurt, so apparently it's an invoice for,
It came in on the 10th from Catamount Truck. You were having issues with the 2012. You called Elaine on the day of the meeting, said hold that because you had some issues. It's been on hold ever since. It's back up again.
They know, don't pay.
Don't pay it.
Nope.
Okay.
Just got the truck back today. The truck has been over there back and forth several different times. And
Which truck is this?
the Freightliner.
The Freightliner.
Remember a long time ago, I told you about the computer and stuff, and they screwed, they've been trying to fix it. And so he knows, Jim Watson, the owner of the company, knows not to pay it. So
Okay.
he's one, I told them, and he told me, he said, yeah, don't pay it until we get this straightened out.
Okay, well, part of the issue too is that's every time it goes back and forth over there's a fair amount of man hours involved, employee time, you and whoever the other driver
I
is,
realize that.
going back and forth as well. So this is starting to add up on the backside as well.
Oh, I realize,
Just the repair.
trust me, I know.
Okay. Any other
I
discussion
gotta
on
get the
that?
thing straightened out before winter time, and nobody else has been able to straighten it out. This is the second place we brought it to, and hopefully it's done now. We'll try it this week, this coming week.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying equipment warrant number 6 in the amount of $6,809.58, signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion fails.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 7 out of the general fund, the amount of $13.19.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is the mileage
Yes.
reimbursement. Are we gonna see the listers at some point?
Not tonight.
Oh, okay.
So do you want to
Table it
this
until we can ask them
discuss the
about it.
listers?
Yes.
All right, so all those in favor of tabling it, signify by saying aye.
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 All right, then we will put that back on the agenda for the next time, please.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 8 out of the general fund, in the amount of $20,779.37.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, in that warrant is an invoice from Overhead Door
Yeah.
for repair.
Yeah.
Can you just let us know what happened and why they charge $404 an hour?
An hour?
Yes.
Yeah, 1 hour, $404.
That was not parts included?
No,
No, that's just labor.
the invoice is here if you want to take a look at
Oh,
it.
that's ridiculous. They've never checked that much before.
I think that's why we brought it up.
Yep.
Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
I actually have a copy of it.
$400 an hour? Yeah, that's ridiculous. And the cable's broken, the spring came in. We don't screw with the springs. That's ridiculous. I will call them tomorrow.
I'll make the copy.
You want my copy? Well, maybe.
Is that the only thing that's on that warrant?
No.
Dollar amount to amend. Is there
We're all
any-
in the wrong business.
Is there any other discussion on that warrant? Okay, as soon as we have the warrant, or as soon as we have the bill back. And a calculator.
I got a calculator.
Okay.
So this is.
Okay, so we need to subtract 526.25 from that total warrant.
Thanks, sir.
$20,253.12 should be the amended warrant.
So would someone like to make that amendment?
So moved.
Just second for the amendment?
Second.
All right. So is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 8 in the amended amount of $20,253.12, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 9 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $2,473.51.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying equipment warrant number 9 in the amount of $2,473.53, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 10 out of the highway in the amount of $661.52.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is the flaggers.
That's correct.
They billed us 16 hours, you signed off for, was it 15?
15.
15? Do we pay them travel time?
Probably, yes. I'm sure we do.
Then why don't they bill travel time?
Probably.
Well, see,
Yeah, it's not
I
set,
don't
yeah.
know.
because
They
they,
were there 15 hours, I remember signing off on it and putting down 15.
right. And
Well,
the
we're
bill-
paying them for lunch at that, because they were here from 7 to 2:30.
They worked a few lunches.
Okay. But then they put in a bill for 16.
It was just kind of curious that you signed off on the 15 and then they billed us for 16.
Oh, they probably put down that they worked through lunch, which they did.
But even at that,
But they
no, they
included
said
it.
7 to 2:30 would be 7.5 hours, which is fine. We signed off on that. Right, but then they turned around and put in 16 hours.
I don't know why they did that. That was Green Mountain flag, right?
That's great.
I don't know. If they charge us for travel time, which I'm sure.
But it's more than that. It's, well, unless they're only doing it one way.
No, if they did it 2 ways, it's a half hour.
Half hour each way.
No, but not for 2 days.
That's just one day.
It's one day.
It's just one day.
Was it just one day?
7.5 hours, 7.5 hours for two
Okay.
people.
Two people. That'd be half hour.
Well, can we find out for certain, just since those two numbers don't match,
Yeah.
why the amount you signed off on isn't the billed amount?
Yeah, I mean, normally they will bill separately for travel time, right?
I remember signing off for 15 hours, they charged us rate for 16.
Right.
Right.
Are there any other questions on that warrant?
No.
All right. Then all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 10 in the amount of $661.52, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Are you gonna vote, Rob?
I said aye.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear you. Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 11 out of the highway fund in the amount of $97.93.
Second,
Is there any discussion?
UniFirst. The bill's back 80 something dollars.
$83.46.
Supposed to be 66. Did they discuss any additional charges with you?
I very rarely see the guy.
Looks like we have a new drummer. Different handwriting here and different charging.
I don't see the bill either, so.
This is not that one.
No, this is the UniFirst bill.
Right, we're on 11.
That's it. I can't give you that so you can sign it. This is the UniFirst.
Basically, it went from
Special
66,
size charge and preparation again. That's what's different.
and this is, I believe, been negotiated at $67.66.
67 has been constant. I mean, it was 66, it crept up to 67. We didn't balk at that, but now it's 83.
Now it's
so-
83.46. I guess we gotta play that game again. All right,
Ed's gonna have to get down to regular size or something.
all right, so is there any other
I
discussion?
think that would be,
That's the other one. That's the other one.
Business card.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a credit card payment.
Oh,
All right, so that's already made anyway. Yeah, because it's got a check number, so that's already gone out.
yeah, so should we amend it?
Well, you can. You would want to amend it by $14.47. So
Well, no, we want to pay the 1447.
No, you want to pay it 67.
You want to pay you want to pay the 83.40, no, you want to pay the 14.47.
Correct.
Right.
So it would be amended to 14.47. So would someone like to
So
make that?
I would move to amend the warrant to 1447.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of paying, I don't even know what it is, highway warrant number 11 in an amended amount of $14.47, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes. I'm not sure whose signatures those are.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 12 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $563.70.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question. In that warrant, brakes and calipers for T2.
or you can yeah.
That wasn't done when the truck was at the dealer, when you had the ball joints
It was
and,
rare.
but I thought the invoice was for rear from Sunel's.
Right, it was a rear caliper locked up. And it hung up on it.
But that's not what was done at the dealership.
No.
The fronts were done.
Front of it.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying equipment warrant number 12 in the amount of $563.70, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 13 out of the general fund in the amount of $2,046.84.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, I have two questions on an invoice from Pete's Tire Barn.
Sure.
Tires for the compactor.
Yes.
All the casings were no good
Casing to John.
because the tires were so old.
Yes.
And
We never put tires on that truck. We bought it with old junk tires on it. We've had it quite a few years. And that's, it's gonna need more tires on it eventually too.
previously we talked about not leaving the old tires at Pete's and paying the recycling fee, bring them back to the garage, and then somebody else was gonna come and pick them up. But they're on the invoice.
Yeah, the invoices they took.
So yeah, if we could, the big
That's my-
tires,
That's my fault.
the big tires, if we, it's cheaper for us to dispose of them when it's all waste than to have Pete's do it.
I could have thrown it in the truck.
No.
And you said there was another question?
Just the casings and the recycling fee.
Okay. Anybody else? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 13 in the amount of $2,046.84, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Okay, let me catch up here. All right, so then moving on to, I'll just make note on the correspondence. You all had a copy of the law enforcement income. for, I believe it was the month of August.
August.
Yeah.
It was a slow month as far as tickets went. So,
I was on vacation.
you're February, okay, there you go. All right, so then moving on to the members of the public, Heidi Clausen?
Likely Charles Marchant is here as a member of the public also. Would you like to speak first as the president of the Historical Society?
Introduce it, yeah, is that okay? Once again, actually, come wearing more than one hat, so. Starting out with the Historical Society. First of all, on November 4th is our annual meeting at 1:30, and a presentation by Michael Weitzner on the Stone Arch Bridges at 2 o'clock. And you'll be getting some printed information on that, but I just wanted to give you a verbal heads up. You're all invited to attend.
Who did we
sec-
possession?
Pardon?
Who did we possession?
That's on there.
Also, I just inform you that there's a nice article on James Follett written into the Stone Trust newsletter, the current issue. Heidi made a copy and gave one to Craig, and it's well done. It's done by Dan Snow. Some of you may know him as a well-known stonemason around the area. I'm here mostly to just check up on the status of the emergency repairs that we talked about a month ago now, I guess, specifically to the bridge in West Townsend. And before I finish, Heidi has a little presentation here that shows one of the issues that we're concerned about with some before and after photographs. And I guess that's why she wrote Craig to be on
No,
the list.
I didn't even call him.
Oh, I
No,
thought,
I got your note. I put it on the agenda.
whatever.
Maybe by some kind
I
of.
thought-
Under your handwriting.
So, would you,
Great. Well, anyway, I've got these lovely pictures for the before and after meeting. And I'll explain what they are.
Thank you.
And can you make sure that Kurt Bostrom gets one as well?
Rick Boston. Basically, the issue is that in the spring of 2013, I took a picture, the first picture, and if you look at the circled area, you can see there's a stone circled in red. And if you look in May 2018, you can see what has happened to that stone, that it is gradually slipping down. And the final picture is just a different angle of that, where the water, the runoff is happening, it's eroding. So our basic concern is that Michael Weitzner has offered to come for a sum of $5,000 and put some mortar in there and keep these stones from falling into the brook. Because once they fall into the brook, it's a lot harder to pick them up again. So he also had a couple of other recommendations, such as curbing, so that the water will not run down the hill from up on Back Wyndham Road onto the bridge and run off there. It should run off before the bridge. And that makes a lot of sense, and it could be done very easily. It has been done by someone making a few scuff marks in the dirt, but it's all kind of silted in by now. So he's talking about asphalt, just to keep it from running into the bridge. So that's the main thrust of this. There's a few other ideas as far as speed limits, so there aren't as many vibrations, and a weight limit. So I'm hoping that tonight there can be a motion made, because it's a last-ditch effort. Michael Weitzner's schedule is full up, and he said he might be able to fit it in before winter, but he's not exactly positive. He will try. So I leave it to our good select board to make the decision. That may save us a lot of money in the end, and it would make sense to move forward.
First question, for the $5,000, how much of this is he gonna mortar up?
Well, that would be a very good question. Basically, If you
Thank you.
look closely, if you look closely, there's like a lot in here that's pretty loose. And the parapet is also leaning out over in here, which we don't want the snow plow to hit and make it go further. His recommendation is using a snow auger, which we don't have, which is expensive. There may be some other way to have a snow blower go through there, but it's the vibrations as well as the snow plow. You can see if you're inside the bridge, there are marks where the plow has hit, and that's kind of rough treatment for something as fragile
No,
as
it's
this.
not just plows that hit it, other people
Well,
hit it all
yeah,
the time.
but people hit it down at a certain level. Your car doesn't, you got your rubber tires down there. They're not-
No, I've seen trailers hit it, I've seen all manner of things hit that bridge.
Okay, well, I agree, nothing should hit the bridge.
I agree.
Yeah, so anyway, that's, he said it would cost up to $5,000. He's hoping to keep it under. But there are a lot of areas down in here. This whole area is just very fragile. If you can see it here. All
So
of
is
this
he, in the 5,000, is he gonna mortar in a whole bunch of these areas on both sides, or just this one area?
Well, his report says the main concern is the northeast spandrel, which is this area here. So that's the part that's really falling apart. It's meant to be temporary repair. It's meant to be something that you could take out later and move things around. It's not meant to be just a solid masonry thing. So the concept is that it's emergency repair. It would hold us through until the real repairs would begin. Does that answer?
Nothing.
Yeah, well, I didn't stand out next to him in the trial. But he's a very trustworthy guy. You've probably seen his 80-page report, which sounds very professional, and the photos are awesome, really clear. Any other?
My question is if we had any contact with V-Trans about their assessment
We
of the
have.
repairs that are needed.
I did a tour with V-Trans people and with the Vermont Division of Historic Preservation
Yeah, I was with you.
and with the Preservation Trust. So I've done 3 tours. One
Okay.
with V-Trans, one with those people, and one with Michael Weitzner. And yes, they're in favor of us doing it, and they feel it's a worthy project to save the bridge. And was there a specific question why you wanted V-Trans?
Well, my question is that, there's grant money that comes available if it is indeed an emergency repair for the structure of the bridge, as deemed by V-Trans and their bridge inspections, versus us just saying it's an emergency repair.
In other words,
Right.
have we ever gotten any kind of paperwork?
Right, have we gotten anything from V-Trans saying that the bridge is in danger?
Well, we have sent them the report, this full report.
Yep.
Well, they inspect the bridges every year.
Every 2 years, but they're.
My question is, have we ever received anything from V-Trans?
No, matter of fact, I was grading up there, actually we replaced the culverts up there, some culverts last week or the week before, and there's 2 guys up there inspecting it.
It was their month to inspect, yeah, and then inspect.
They're biannual.
Yeah. And I did email with Matt Joy, and I said, well, what is your concept of, can we go ahead as a town and make repairs on the bridge, or would this affect your feelings about whether or not, it was being done right? And he said, it's your bridge, you should do the repairs in the way that you feel
And who is Matt
correct.
Joy?
Matt Joy is the inspector who did it in 2016.
Okay.
I assume he might do it this year, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
So, and V-Trans also said we should contact our local office in Dummerston and get a structures grant, apply for a structures grant for small bridges.
Right, well, we.
So that would be the other place.
It's gonna have to take its turn. in line.
Yes,
I
I
heard-
understand that.
I
We've
have a
already
grant
had
already.
somebody who kind of got in there a little bit ahead of this one, but it's still a
Well,
great
the
idea.
bridges that got in there ahead
Are
were
falling
deemed by
down.
the state as failing.
Right,
Yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not like we chose,
Right.
the bridges are falling down.
Right, yeah, well, this one too could be falling down if we're not very careful. So,
But
anyway, yes, we are.
the unfortunate thing is that we have limited resources.
Right. Yep, and there are other grants out there, and given permission from the town, the Historical Society would pursue, getting some of those grants, but we do feel that because it's a town road, that some town money would logically go into preserving this roadway. And the other bridges, which are not roadways, may be a different question, but right now, we want to preserve the West Townsend Bridge.
So in other words, are you saying that the Historical Society has designated the West Townsend Bridge as the most important bridge to preserve?
That is the way I feel about it, yes. Because if these stones fall out before winter, it's gonna cost a lot more money. So it would be the emergency to repair
You got
that.
two issues. One is you got a bridge that's being used every day. That's not our determination to decide if it's the most important one. It's, you own it. It's your determination. This report says there's some issues that are serious to prevent further deterioration. And we think, and based on our previous conversation, you, as a board, indicated that you wanted to deal with the highway bridge because it's being used, and we should work on the bridges that are not used as highway bridges, but are basically historic attractions, if you will. So we're basing our feelings on Michael's report that there are some issues that need to be dealt with in order to prevent further deterioration and then more expense down the road.
Is there a recommendation on what the posted weight limit should be?
Yes. And there's some discussion as to whether you're talking about pounds or tons. So,
Hello?
Michael's newest recommendation is, what?
10 tons.
10 ton.
He said 20 tons, the arch could stand 20 tons, and he's been mulling it over, and he's very concerned about this area in the spandrel, the area I showed his picture of. He's very concerned that the vibrations and weight could cause that to come down unless we put it down to a 10-ton limit. So,
Mr. Bostrom,
Good.
what's the weight of a loaded dump truck?
amen.
46, 40, 44, 46.
What about your small one?
That's 10,
Yeah,
20,000 pounds.
But
right, I
that's
thought
not-
you
that's
used the
not gonna
small, I
sand
thought you
the-
used the small ones for the back roads.
There's a lot of roads back there.
We use a small one for one road up there, that's Highway to Head, or Round Hill Cemetery, Schoolhouse Road.
Okay.
The schoolhouse, that's all. 'Cause
It doesn't carry enough sand to.
No, you can't do that, it'd be many.
It's
many,
really
many
small,
trips.
okay. I know it's a relatively small dump truck that comes up Wyndham Hill Road. You know, it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like it's the biggest one that I've ever seen.
No, that's just,
That's the,
no, he only does schoolhouse on Wyndham, on that
yeah, the
one.
big dump truck does when it's.
Yeah,
They-
yeah,
they do.
yeah.
In this issue of weight, the road, Kurt and I met today and we talked about this sort of stuff. The road is already posted for 24,000 pounds, which is 12 ton. That's out by Route 30. I'm guessing there is not a similar sign on the other side.
That'd be Wyndham and,
Well, maybe up in South Wyndham, there might be, yeah. So 24,000 pounds is 12 ton. However, it would appear that nobody's following that, including the town.
We don't declare our roads. to be
And Kurt indicated that everybody else would have to get an overweight permit, and it's basically not being done. I don't know how this all works with something that's posted. I'm just gonna, I don't think we can solve that by discussing it here. I just point out that there's a recommendation to reduce it and also put a speed limit
well,
posting
here's,
and that sort of thing, in order to at least let people know that you got a sensitive, it's a historic bridge, it's not your normal bridge that's there. Most people can't even see it, you don't know you're going, you see these cement walls and you don't know that's a historic bridge, it looks like any other bridge.
may I say something?
Well, it's up to them.
May I say something? I think we should have the bridge worked on with the mortar, putting mortar in and passing those rocks, or making sure, shoring those rocks up to make sure they don't fall down. Put a 5 mile an hour speed limit sign there. And as far as posting for 20,000 pounds, we should do that to reinforce the bridge, because we should not have any log trucks going over it, any trailer trucks, any concrete trucks. We should make, but I feel the town really should let delivery trucks, oil, propane, something like that. I think
That was precisely
that's the
my
next
next question.
So he was originally 20 ton, then he's been thinking over a cup of tea, and now he's down to 10 ton. So I think we should stick with the 20 ton, put the 5 mile an hour sign up, have those rocks mortared in and fixed, because it is a town road and it's a town bridge being used by quite a few people. And then we can pursue getting the real fix for it with grants or whatever after this. And we are very careful with that bridge with the trucks, because those rails that are out there were not originally part of that bridge. They're not integral to that bridge. They're add-on to that bridge. So they're really not that great on that bridge, you know what I mean? And yeah, if we wanted to, we can knock them off. But we don't want to knock them off, so we're pretty careful with it. But that's my suggestion. I think that's what we should do. And we'll put signs up. We'll have signs made or put them up, or, you know, regular signs, the retro-reflective ones of all these things for that bridge. But
On the north side and the south side?
Yes.
That would be good, yeah.
Yep.
Now, can you get the reflective and the historic reflective color?
Work on that one.
Can you post for 20,000 and then let selected people through? I know you can let a fire truck through, and you can probably use a sand truck, being an emergency vehicle.
Well, no tandem axle, no triaxles, no trailer trucks. Because there are people that live up on that road who have all these things.
Yeah,
So they're gonna have to.
a full moving van will weigh more than that.
20 ton?
Well, they have to come in from
And
Windham
that'd
Hill
be a
Road,
really,
cross over
really
James.
full.
That's a long ride.
20,000 pounds, 10 ton?
Yeah, but,
20
you know,
ton.
You're talking 20 ton? Up
20
from
ton.
12.
20 ton on the bridge.
That's right now, 12 ton posted, right? 24,000.
His original suggestion was 20 ton. Then
You
Change
can
it to
put whatever you
Yeah,
want with a
20
weight
ton,
limit on it.
yes.
If there's nobody there to jurisdict it, it doesn't matter.
right. But
So
if we can
it can be 100.
deter the honest people from breaking the law, would be the best thing. Because whoever's gonna.
So
break the law-
you're saying 20 ton and not his recommendation for 10?
Well, his first recommendation was 20,
Right, I know.
but then they changed his mind. But I don't think we can do that, because that's gonna cut off a lot of people,
Yeah.
deliveries and whatnot.
Oh, then the town truck would run it.
Tow truck, grader, backhoe.
yeah,
So, any other questions, any other discussion?
I met with Kurt, we went over the list and things, and one issue that did come up, and we offered on this brush cutting around all the bridges, we offered to, if we knew about it, we could help in some way. Not using chainsaws, but, you know, the help cutting the brush. And I guess that's up to you guys how that works in terms of us helping the town road crew do something like that. If we have willing people that might do that, if we knew when Kurt was gonna do it. So, but you guys have to decide if that's okay. You don't have to tell us now, just because he hasn't picked a day. The other thing is, I talked with Kurt, that there's still $3,500 in the account to pay for things related to Negro Brook, the Stone Archway, and the Fairbrook Bridge, in terms of some of these recommendations, and they were there because of the flood damage, and most of that hasn't been dealt with. So that's, the last time I was here, you said that we could go and take care of some of those things. The question I have is, in terms of process, if we, if we went and hired somebody to do something, do we have to come back here and ask you guys if it's okay to do that, or can we talk with Kurt about it, knowing that there's that money there, or if he wants to hire somebody to do like the railings on one of the bridges, can he go ahead and do that, knowing that there's $3,500 there to cover some of those
Well,
expenses?
that money was set aside specifically for those bridges,
Okay.
so I would assume
But
that if
working on town property at town direction raises a liability issue.
well, it does, but if it's
Right.
under the direction of the highway department, that would
Right.
fall under the umbrella of the town.
Yes.
So in other words, if you have someone who wants to do work on the bridge, you clear it through Kurt or with Kurt or whichever, and then when the bills are submitted, we'll just have some kind of a designation that that money comes from the grant monies that's been set aside, as opposed to just out of the highway department. Okay? That isn't a problem. Anything else that you had?
That's all I have on, from the Historical
Well,
Society.
I've got something before we
My
get
other-
off topic as
Other two
well.
hats.
Before we go too far, are we gonna make any sort of a decision on Michael Weisner's $5,000?
We're talking about the emergency repairs. Yes, we're going to make a decision, but I would like to, I've got something I'd like to say first, unless nobody else does.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to point out that I've heard that the Historic Society is pinpointing the bridges, these stone arch bridges, for people who might be interested in going to look at them. And that they've been identified in specific areas on, well, Back Wyndham and, yeah.
By Simpson.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of the road. Anyway, that people have been showing up to look at these properties. And one of the concerns that I have is the fact that a lot of these bridges are only accessible through private property. And I'm just wondering if there's any plan for the Historic Society to approach these landowners to see about working out some kind of an agreement for these individuals that are being directed onto private property to having some kind of an agreement with the landowner to allow them to access the property. You can see the bridges, you can stand on top, it's a public road, but you can't see under.
There's two parts of that though. The town has a right of way from the road, coming off of the road, and the brook bed itself isn't actually a person's private property.
Right.
State property.
State
So
property.
unless they're actually out of the right of way of the road or out of the brook bed, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be private property.
I dare you to climb down there.
I can only speak
Do
for
you know where I
myself.
come from?
Well, I know what you're saying, but I also know that a lot of these bridges are also in a place where there is a dwelling close enough that it would impact the person living there. Specifically, the West Townsend Bridge.
Right.
Yeah.
We've already heard this.
I can only speak for myself. Any person that I've invited to specifically go look at one of these, I or we have asked the landowner if it's okay to bring a group of people. These bridges are on the National Register of Historic Places. They're on websites all over the country. If people come from someplace else to look at them, they are not posted, please ask private property, so we do run the risk of people who, show up from California and want to look at the bridge, start walking around, and I would guess that's probably happened. That's not something
It certainly happened.
well, that's not something we've told them to do. We didn't invite them, they just showed up.
So are you, in other words, you have not put out a map of these bridges for people?
There is a map, absolutely. But they're on the National Register, so that's the way it goes.
My biggest concern is if somebody is trying to access one of these bridges, particularly this West Townsend Bridge, it's a long way down, and they fall and they're hurt. They're going to go after a lot of different deep pockets, and I'm just concerned that if the landowners aren't aware that they've been identified, that they are considered a national treasure, so to speak, and that people are going to be going down there.
But that national designation isn't something that just happened yesterday, that
Oh, I
happened years ago.
But then the
Right,
properties
but now
change.
we're publicizing, and you guys have talked about
And properties
a
change hands.
bridge walk and a tour, that, it brings up liability issues.
We have a tour scheduled for
This comes up, we did.
Pumpkin Festival,
We'll do that.
but it's not gonna be that bridge, it's gonna be the ones by Scott Bridge.
Well, it's just something to think about, is the fact that they're,
I mean, my personal view is, I don't wanna have to go and ask somebody every time I take somebody, so I usually don't take people to Simpsonville or, West Townsend. I tell them they're there, and I tell them you need to stop and ask the people if you're gonna go, but I don't think I've actually ever taken anybody to those bridges except the ones that we arranged and contacted the homeowners.
You and I have talked, because I have property on both sides, three corners of an historic bridge, Follett Bridge. The question has come up as to whether I should maintain some sort of pathway down, and do I incur a liability to do that? It is a beautiful bridge, but the easiest way to get there is to cross my property or Carol's property. Carol's is hard to get onto, so to speak, so the easiest way is to cross mine to get down into it. But I haven't wanted to straighten out the rock rubble or cut the poison ivy or the brush, simply because by making an overt effort to do that, accommodate, then I end up actually permitting or encouraging or something like that. And if somebody gets hurt, then I kind of buy into that they're getting hurt. So anyway,
And there's an assumption of
How many
keeping it
people
up.
have you seen
once you
there?
start keeping it up, right.
How many people have you seen there?
A lot of people. People go by on bikes, they stop, they clone, they break off the little stalactites that are forming from the limestone dripping down and all of that. There is no sign there though, which is a good thing. It's not like there's a sign that says Follett Bridge here. But a lot of people do know about it. And it is, they come up, they're looking at a map, they know it's there, they stop, they pull into Simpson Brook Road or park in the middle of Route 35 because, well, nobody uses Route 35, and get out of their car with their cameras and go wandering through the poison ivy. And the dogs start barking and I get out the shotgun.
they just go south
We
from
go
there.
south.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's get back to the question at hand. Is someone interested in presenting a motion to entertain the emergency repairs as recommended by Mr. Follett if they're, excuse me.
Follow Milton.
You quit it with the
He's not
names.
making it.
We might fix it.
We're gonna have to wait a while.
We don't have to wait. Reincarnation, is that what you're
Get in
saying?
Oakland.
Anyway, to entertain a motion to do the emergency repairs on the West Townshend Bridge. Does that bridge have a name?
We call it the West Townsend Bridge.
West Townsend Bridge.
Just
It's
West
over
Townsend Bridge.
Tannery Brook, but the way it's listed
Or
on the
Tannery Brook
National,
Bridge, yeah.
National Register calls it the West.
We need to work on that.
Townsend Bridge.
What was the Busines?
Somebody want to make that motion?
So moved.
Is there a
Second. Second.
Any discussion on that?
Yes, I'd like to hope that Michael gets more than these two stones smothered in and puts on a good show and really lays some order into
We did the right to us
good-
for the man, and I would.
a good portion of it. Because 5,000 is quite a bit for,
Not to exceed.
yeah.
Yeah, it's up to 5,000, you would hope to keep it up.
Yep.
But
Yeah, no, I'm just-
there are a
yeah.
lot of other areas, not just that northeast end, that's the worst part.
Yeah, so it'd be
He
good to
mentions
see it
them all
jump
in the
around.
big report, you know, of the issues that need fixing, so.
So I would move that
Not to exceed
we,
5.
yeah,
Not to exceed.
Does that
not to
include,
exceed 5,000.
and that includes the curbing, or is that a separate motion? Because I think the curbing is very important.
Well, this is, right now, we have a move to approve emergency repairs at the West Townshend Bridge not to exceed 5,000, so if you want to
The
tune
mortar
that a
is
little bit.
5,000, and the curbing for asphalt, I don't know how much it would cost for a little asphalt there and stuff to keep the water.
But that wasn't something he was gonna do, was it? That was a
He
highway.
personally will not do it, but he says it's an important.
Right, that
part
was
of
something the highway crew could
emergency
do, right,
Right.
with,
What do we need, the asphalt, or would we divert the water before it gets there?
Well, I divert the water every time we grade up there. I make a little channel, but it fills in because I'm not gonna dig a big hole in that guy's yard and, or on the other side. But if you wanted me to lay in, within our right of way, lay in I can make a coal patch swale more permanent there.
Just to channel the water.
Take the channel and hopefully it will, yeah. Because we do keep filling in the corner of that bridge with stone on.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's almost every year.
Like all of
Doesn't
that,
stick.
I know, but that's all.
Kind of
we
went
do.
over the top. Exactly, you can't do any more than that, I agree.
All right, so the motion as it stands is to do the emergency repairs not to exceed 5,000?
not to exceed 5,000, and that's mostly for Mark Leitner's work and his, whoever he subcontracts.
Was there a second? for
I
that?
seconded.
You seconded that. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of allowing emergency repairs to the West Townsend Bridge, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Special projects fund?
Should we make another motion to have Kurt put the curb in,
No, he's here, it's been discussed, he said he would do it. He's an employee. It's our nickel regardless. What did you just say, Craig? I'm sorry.
We'll talk about later, where the funding comes from. Special reserve for special fund, or special projects reserve.
We don't have a
I
special
don't think there's
projects
much
reserve.
left in it if there is anything.
There isn't any.
Okay, it's zeroed out then. Okay, we'll find.
So you said you had to second?
Thank you. And the other hat?
Yeah, well, okay, which hat is it?
The Hope in Action hat.
Yeah.
The yard sale was not the most phenomenal thing going, but, I mean, there were some people there. I had to do a cemetery program, so, but, I mean, we took in, we had, what, 10 vendors, I think? So anyway, Hope in Action got $150 or so. In reference to the last meeting when I was caught by surprise by the damage to the counter in the kitchen. I took a look at it, I sanded it down, I had a couple of other people take a look at it, and we applied a couple of coats of sealer, Minwax, tried to match up the color. Anita's looked at it, and if you want to take a look at it, there's no more bare wood there. It's greatly improved, I think, but it's not a perfect match. But our people, particularly Ron Millette, who's pretty much in charge of the kitchen and the room here when we have the meals, is almost positive that we did not cause that. And we didn't have an event in May here, so the earliest it could have happened would have been April. And if I'm just finding out about it in August, that's way too late.
Oh, I don't disagree, but I will
So-
also tell you it was earlier than that.
Well, all I want to say is, we've asked Anita way back at the end of each event to make a circle of the building to see if anything needs our attention. And then we take care of it. Usually it's somebody left a coat or something like that. In the future, if we don't hear about this by Wednesday of the event, we don't want to hear about it. I'm just telling you that, okay? Don't bring it up that we did something that we didn't do. So we come in usually on that Wednesday to give a contribution to the town based on a percentage of whatever we took in that night, and we give it to Anita, and it's for the building. And I always ask her if there's anything we need to attend to. So that's the procedure we've set up. I felt badly that I found out about this quite a bit after whenever it took place, and we don't think we did it in the first place. So that's all I have to say about that. The third hat is cemetery related. In our meeting with Kurt, we discussed a tree at Wistful Cemetery that's a very large white pine tree. Branches continue to fall off this tree into the cemetery, and it's not a cemetery tree. My recommendation is that it be removed, but it's a big one. At any rate, if stuff does fall into the tree, the cemetery, and there's damage to the gravestones, we're gonna hold the town accountable for that, because according to the Vermont League of Cities and Towns insurance people, you've been informed that there's a potential problem. And so now on the Twitchell Cemetery, down on Route 30, there's a whole row of trees that need attention, and they're all on Taft Meadow, except one. And my recommendation is to have those all removed. And if they are, then the cemetery will redo the fence that's there, which can't be done now because the trees are growing in amongst the fence. But that's our recommendation, that they be taken out. The problem there is there's a power line there. that comes up across the West River and comes out to Route 30. Occasionally, the power company has come in and trimmed it, but they only trim like that. They don't generally take the whole tree. I would imagine about half of the trees are dead. And a couple of them look like ash, so I don't know if we have that emerald ash borer around here or not, but they look like they either are or were ash trees. So anyway, that's just something to consider in the tree removal process that the town does on an occasional basis.
The one at Wiswall's in the right of way or not? He said.
One of his walls outside the stone wall. It's right
But
by
is
the
it in the town right away, by the road there?
I would imagine the town right away goes from wall to wall.
Oh,
No,
okay.
but is it town, is the tree,
Is
is it
that private
in the
property?
road part?
Yeah, the road.
Between the road, traveled road and the wall?
Yeah, yeah. But
So it's definitely a town tree, it's
it's
not a
big.
private land tree?
Yeah,
No,
no, it's a town,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
big.
Charlie and I looked at it a few years ago. We went over some trees and we cut down some trees by some cemeteries that we could cut down. This one, I talked to Russ Petronic about this, and Russ was even apprehensive about doing it by climbing because it's got a big crotch in it. And it leans
Yeah,
over
it's
the cemeteries and it can break all those.
Should we get a hold of Bob to serve up?
That's
Well-
not your tree warden.
You can see tree warden.
Yeah, I'm just suggesting that based on the amount of branches that, like in June after that storm, I mean, I had to pick up branches that were, if they hit you on the head, you'd know it. They didn't hit any stones. There are some stones, well, certainly if the whole tree split apart, it would take out the wall and
You'd cherry pick.
there'd be
There'd
some issues.
Yes.
No, you need a crane.
So
Yeah,
it's,
or crane.
anyway.
Or,
Tie it off and pull it out.
it's a big.
I guess I'm suggesting that, your budget stuff's coming up, if you wanted to put it in the next year's thing, and it probably is gonna make it through a year, but I just wanted to bring it up. And I thank Kurt for doing the one that, particularly up by Acton Hill, there was one, and that's it.
Any questions?
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Charlie.
All right, then flipping back up to the highway department. I'm gonna go ahead and do a report.
Yes. Busines started paving, they got their shim coat down from Acton Hill down to Route 35 intersection. And we already went over Bruce Orchid. He started mowing, but obviously has qualifications. I've called him, but I never got a call back from him after he started. And we talked about Fitzpatrick are doing a good job. The ditch stone that they're making we went over that. They had to change some stuff on it. But the ditch stone will be fine for what they're making. And the gravel of what they've made is nice. The 755 lawnmower. The last meeting we talked about that. And I was going to try and find out a place in Pennsylvania for my brother, either parts or selling it as parts. And I called the Weavers. It's Weavers where they specialize in compact tractors, used compact tractor parts. And they have a transmission it's a rear end PTO assembly for this tractor in stock, on a shelf, in a pallet, whatever. And it's $1,700. So I could put that in that tractor. Plus, might as well get some bearings and seals. Of course, you'd have to check that out. But I really think we should have our own snowblower, to be honest with you. Because the guy we have snowblowing really does a great job. The people who, you never know
Which
who's
one?
gonna, Brian.
Brian or Joe?
They both do a good job.
Oh.
Yeah. We use that tractor for the shoulders of the roads, and we had to use it on the side of the roads to dress up stuff. But after our paving, we always use that machine instead of hiring a shoulder machine by a company. It saves us a ton of money that way. And mowing is mowing, but at least we have some control over that. But for $1,700 as a taxpayer, I think we ought to fix that tractor, so at least we could have it for the winter snow blowing. If you want to hire somebody for mowing, you can. But for snow blowing and the roadside shoulder, that tractor does a great job, that little size tractor. And I think we should fix it.
That's a new PTO or something? On a pallet?
That's a rear end assembly with the two
Real assembly.
PTOs. That's,
But it's a-
PTO is
it's a-
PTO. That's,
right, yeah.
it's use. And it's,
Okay.
yeah. But they will buy the tractor. That's how I originally started this conversation with my brother. Where did you sell your tractor? He says, I'll call Weavers. So I called Weavers, and that's what they specialize in. After going on their website, talking to those guys, they have parts for these tractors. I have the information on the new dump truck. Do you have
Everybody got a copy, or copies were made in
the
it.
Dodge,
The Dodge from Lucky's.
from Lucky? Well, I'm glad I called different places. Because I got Ford, I don't remember exactly how much the Dodge was.
80,
I don't, it's
82,
something like that, yeah, it was,
I've got it in the,
That
it was under 85, right?
That was complete, well, the cabin chassis, you remember what it was?
43, 3, something like that.
Yeah, because, well, Ford is, under the municipal bid is 48, so it is a little bit more than a Dodge. But Fairfields, I think we should go with Fairfields on the equipment.
Let me make some copies.
Because Lucky's uses a Fisher snowplow frame under the truck. And I don't want a Fisher snowplow frame, I want a regular commercial type plow frame under the truck, like we have now. And it's cheaper.
So Lucky's was their supply in the state, right?
You're supplying the state. And I found all, I inquired about it, and then I looked
Got all the detail.
Yeah, and then I looked at the bid really closer. I said, oh, these are Fisher snowplow frame. We don't need a Fisher frame. We want a real snowplow frame that we can take some, if we have to do roots with it. We've dealt with Fairfield before. I wanted to try Lucky's if they were compatible, but not after seeing that. I don't think that equipment is good for us. But my suggestion is go with the Dodge. You know, there's products at Ford and Brattleboro, Dodge and Ford. I'd go with the Dodge chassis and Fairfield equipment. It's almost identical to the equipment we have now. The Lucky's is a little bit more money. They have more strobe lights, some other things.
We don't have. Where are you on?
We got the Lucky's last time, right? Last
Yes, but
year.
where are you seeing the actual dollar amount on the Lucky? All I see are the spec, okay, I don't have that.
You might not, there were 2 pages.
I've got 2 pages, but it doesn't, I don't have anything that has a price on it.
Here. This is one of the Lucky's.
It's on the price, huh? I don't know.
So that's for the sander. Hydraulic system, two-way plow.
Yep. So it was, Lucky's came at 35.5.
Everything, yeah. 32.7. Fairfield.
So the Ford is the cabin chassis, and then the Fairfield is the sander and plow. Yeah.
Let's just see equipment.
Are you still looking too scared?
Yeah. I don't know, what was the Lucky's quote on the cabin chassis?
It only does equipment.
Oh, they just do the equipment.
Yeah.
That's why I can't find a dollar amount. Okay.
That's because it comes from the other place. Yeah, awesome. Foster's, right.
That's the cabin chassis.
Right, it's cabin chest.
Okay.
Tenco did not give me a price because they're far out on the equipment now. And I said, we're gonna have to get this done.
We played that game with Tenco last time, and
So he was pretty good about it, I said, James, don't worry about it.
okay,
But I'm not gonna lie to you, it'll be next year.
just so, on this,
No, Tenco.
Oh, for take, okay. Did you get a rough idea on the,
The
The
cabin
Fairfield?
chassis, both cabin chassis are in stock, Ford and Dodge, and Fairfield is pretty open right now.
they're pretty old. So what would you looking at, what would you think?
6 to 8 weeks,
6 to 8?
as soon as they get it. Yeah.
Anybody have any questions?
What was the Dodge cabin chassis? I forgot.
Price? 43, it might have been 43. I forgot to print that out again, I know I gave it to you last.
Yep, I've got it in the back here somewhere.
So total, we're talking about 81, give or take,
Trade. Yeah, there's a trade.
plus the trade,
Yeah,
or plus the trade, I should say.
The Ford comes to about 80, 82 before, I mean, delivered, I mean, and then you had a few things onto it. And the Dodge City last week came in pretty much the same price 5 years later, so that was it was a good state bid.
Now, are all these plows fan belt driven hydraulic pumps, or do they have like an electric over hydraulic?
They're electric over hydraulic.
It says it's a fan belt driven hydraulic.
Right, with electric switch, electromagnetic clutch on it that kicks it in and out.
Is that for just the sander or the plow as well?
Sander plow and nothing.
Do you all like to take some time to look them over, or what would you like to do?
Well, I think the Fairfield quote is complete and it looks good. What's the last in the description remarks, to upgrade to Force America 1 system, electronic controls at 1587, see attached, but we don't have attached. Is that something you're looking to get, or they're just offering something?
Well, that's what everybody's price out is gonna price out, those electronic controls instead of cables. That's what Lucky's has, electronic controls, but they do cable or electronic controls, electric controls. Do I have an attachment? No, I don't have an attachment. No. I didn't print that out. But to keep everybody on the same plane, because Lucky's it's electric, I wanted a price for an electric too.
And what would you prefer to have?
I never had electric before. Everybody's going to electric. I always have cable. Cable's pretty foolproof.
Easily diagnosed if it breaks.
As is
Yeah.
evidenced in the Freightliner?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, where are you?
I'm good with the Dodge and I'm good with Fairfield.
Which is the Dodge. The Dodge would come from Foster's. You buy the Ford chassis.
Fairfield is equipment.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty much identical to the truck we have now, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
So somebody needs to make a motion, because we can't go anywhere, just you either want to talk about it some more,
No,
or
I'm good.
I'm good.
then make a motion,
Yeah.
somebody.
I would move that we contract to purchase the Dodge rolling chassis from Foster's with the equipment coming from Fairfield at the given quotes.
You're gonna want to state the quotes.
So the Fairfield quote is $32,772.
I'll put in the Foster's number when we find it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Second?
any further discussion on that?
Let's see, 32, 7, 33, 34.
Hearing none, all those in favor of purchasing a new 1-ton truck from whomever,
Foster.
Foster's.
to be equipped by
Fairfield.
Fairfield. Okay, well, I'll get it right sooner than later.
The Dodge 5500. from
Okay,
Foster's,
fine,
right?
that works. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, so we can, are you going to notify, do you want Craig to notify them how are you going to start the process?
I will call them tomorrow.
Okay, where are we? We haven't gotten to the financial piece yet.
They're gonna
But-
need to see the Ford, obviously, for trade-in, and
They're gonna wanna see the Ford, I talked to them today about that. And the equipment, I gotta take good pictures of the equipment, so I gotta pick them up with the loader and take good pictures of the equipment. So.
Okay, well, I'm just, my curiosity,
Cause
what the timing's going to be for the cash flow.
we're gonna need a
standpoint.
sales contract that you're gonna have to sign, so nothing's going anywhere until we get paid.
Exactly, but we also are going to have a paving bill to pay, we're going to have other bills to pay, so we're gonna have to look at the cash flow on this, so if you could keep us apprised of when you anticipate having these expenses, so that we can plan the expenses to match the cash flow, that'd be helpful.
I gotta talk about our trade-in, on the truck. I'll about them putting the equipment on the truck and we buying the truck fully furnished with the equipment, because they talked about that, and then we can segue into the trade-in.
Okay, well.
So we won't be without the truck, is what I'm saying.
Well, I also want to see, as Craig just said, we want a sales contract
Oh,
that
absolutely.
we actually have to sign.
You also don't wanna have two bills either, if that's possible.
Right.
I mean, when we were buying from Deluries,
Yeah.
it was, we were paying for the cab and chassis, and then we were paying Tenco 6 months later. or 7 months.
what you do, because.
Yeah, but then you get into, you're paying for the cab and chassis 6 months before, you've got a trade involved in it. And you're using the trade.
That's why,
until-
because we never make the big truck people put the equipment on the trucks.
Right.
I
If
just,
we can package it, but in any case, if you get, I'm gonna need full-blown specs, the package, you know, and sales brochures and all that, plus a hat. But they're gonna need paperwork to sign, sales contracts.
Do you want one from Fairfield or Foster's?
Why don't I see one of both? Foster's maybe, because I see a lot of Fairfields around.
Okay, so
You have to check the logos for color. and
Check the
that.
logos.
just make sure we get paperwork on that. And did you have anything else for us?
Get the salt on
I
that.
will get to it.
Okay.
I'm asking him if he has
Oh,
anything
okay.
else.
it's funny, because I haven't received any salt pricing this year yet.
I did. I got
So we gotta buy sand and salt for this coming winter, so when do you wanna do that? That's all I got on my agenda.
Okay. Then we'll go back to my agenda. Winter salt, we did receive a contract from the state of Vermont for District 2. The price is listed as $75 a ton, and it's coming out of
New York, but it'll be locally distributed somehow or other. But the company's in New York.
That's what was last year, too.
It's coming out of Albany, but yeah, I'm not, yeah.
And then they had the area up there.
She's got the clipboard right there, Kathy's got.
Okay, I can't, Alapache?
Alapache. Let's see the state went with this year.
Yeah, that was at the company last year.
But District 2 is 75, it's not the most expensive, it's not the cheapest either, but it's not the most, it's average.
So
We had a high of 78 a couple of years ago, and a low of 72 last year, I think.
did we have a use?
2 years ago, we did 450, last year we did 400
All right. That's $75 a ton, so somebody,
400 from Cargill and 450 from American, but the price changed too. So where there was a price fluctuation, we try to keep the monies the same, so to speak, by order. And you never know. But it was a do not exceed, but without notification kind of thing.
so what's your pleasure, peoples?
400, I think, was a good number last year. I think we should continue with 400.
Yeah, that worked for you.
And I said, yeah, who the hell, who knows?
Yeah, right. With our crystal balls as we look at the weather.
Yeah, but for 15 degrees this right.
Okay, oh shoot, that's not what I Let's cross this out, I don't like that. I'm playing colors, I'm coloring,
Nice.
okay. So we're at 400 tons at
400.
$75 a ton?
Yep.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on that? All those in favor of entering into a contract with Alapache Salt to buy 400 ton salt at $75 per ton, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. All right, so now sand. Again, what was the usage last year?
$4,000.
4,000.
4,000 yards, I believe. Yeah, I can look it up actually pretty quickly, but I never.
It was 4,000.
Yeah. And I don't have a price from South but I can't imagine they've changed much.
No,
They haven't changed in 10 years, I can't imagine.
I know, and because we can only hold so much in our site, they are stellar by getting us sand glycol. I don't think we should deviate from them unless the price is.
Is your shed empty?
Maybe 150 yards in there, 200 yards.
I'm sorry?
I'm trying to figure out what's on the clipboard, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's
I'm not paying any attention to the rest of
No,
the
no,
guys.
there's a bunch of stuff on there, I can't remember, it's been on there for like 3 weeks. You
Okay.
got the contract on the top.
So you want
that's all I know.
4,000 yards of sand, is that what I just heard?
Yes.
It's worked in the past, there was 1 year that we went over and a couple of years we came in under, but it's been a good starting point, obviously. You never know what you're gonna be into when you.
No, that's the problem.
So would someone like to make a motion?
I would move that we,
Do we even know what the price is this year? We called?
I have not called them.
Well, let's set it.
let's get a call. Should we get a price? Let's get a price.
I think it would be helpful before we
Yeah, good.
decide to decide what we're gonna spend.
I'll call them.
You got the number, I don't.
All right, so if you could get back in touch with us on the sand,
Sure.
but figured 4,000. All right, and the truck bid we've already taken care of. The last thing that isn't on the agenda, but that I would like to see, addressed, is we're getting ready to go into budget season shortly. I need
Happens
evaluations.
fast.
I need evaluations for the employees. And I would like them before the end of October. And we do have the form, you can ask Craig for the blights if you don't have one. Anybody else have anything?
No, I have the Windows version that you can fill out as a form and print.
I think I've got the.
I gave it to you, right? Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So we don't have to try to read each other's handwriting.
pardon?
I know, I never heard
See-
of Appalachia, I never.
Well, like I said, I
That
can't,
just actually came through like 3 days ago, I assume you got
Rochester,
it.
New York.
It's been coming through VLCC.
okay, so if you can let us know at the next meeting, on the sand, what Susatama says they're gonna charge this year. Then if you have anything else,
I got something for him here.
you got something for him?
$200 fund and $300 fund. Budget fiscal year 2020 is a blank line on the last one there.
Oh, wow.
It's coming up on that season again.
Yeah. Smile.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thanks
you.
for hanging around for the bridge discussion, because
My pleasure.
it impacts you as much as it
Oh, I know,
does.
I was with Charlie today for like, enough.
Yeah, thank you.
Coffee.
Good night.
Have a good night.
All right, then, moving on to new business. You all had in your box a copy of a note from the listers, basically.
Actually reports, I'm sorry, town clerk and treasurer.
Oops, yep, I did. That's what happens when we take it out.
Yep.
So the clerk, you have the counter report. And then the treasurers,
Joe's asking me to read that in the checking account, I believe, you have 990.
No.
I'm sorry,
No, that's
that's the sweep account. $992,936.91. And in the checking account, $29,000, $29,816.23.
Okay, any questions on that?
The schools have been paid. And the first quarter taxes are in.
Okay. Now, down to the lister's equipment request. You all received a copy of a note that we got addressing some of the computer issues and our request to speak to the chair of the listers about job descriptions. And he was not able to make the meeting this evening. He said hopefully he'd be able to come to the next meeting, so you might just read what he's written here and formulate any questions. I have given him a rough idea of what we are asking him to talk about. And that will be an executive session because it is a discussion of personnel. Okay?
Okay.
Common use policy, again, you have in your box a copy of a rough draft of a common use policy that we need to, at some point in time, take a look at. I can't find mine either, so it doesn't matter.
You want this one?
Nope,
Yeah.
it's here on this mess somewhere. There it is. That we need to be able to get finalized before the first of the year so that everybody starts off on the same page as far as knowing what is expected on the common or by utilizing any of the town structures. So if you
Yes.
have any comments or any,
Mark it up and
exactly.
pick it up at the next meeting.
Please have it ready to go at the next meeting so that we can have a discussion about this, particularly the fees and what kind of a fee structure we would want to have. I don't know if you all noticed, but in the bills and the warrants this time, there was also the service.
Tree service.
The tree service.
Yes,
for Bartlett.
I did see that.
And so it does have a cost to
Yep.
maintain the common, not just the mowing. Okay, then annual town report, Will.
I have made some inquiries. I am playing a fair amount of phone tag. I really don't have anything to report as of yet. But hopefully by the next meeting, I should have some names and some leads to work with.
Well, we also need to light a fire under the auditors so that we can begin this process, so we have numbers to put in one. So that it's all in the works at the same time. If anybody has any ideas of a graphic artist that we could speak to.
Yeah, feel free
about.
to email me. It's vtwilbus@gmail.com for those of you watching at home.
All right, the snow blowing, Kurt's recommendation was to repair the tractor. What do y'all think?
That tractor was a 1980 something?
It's,
84?
yeah,
I just would hate to throw good money after
after
that.
that. Yeah, that was my second. That being said, 17, it seems like 1700 is not.
A new
Yeah.
one, I would assume, is north of 15 grand though.
Oh,
Yeah.
Locomotive or something like that.
20.
Yeah.
Well, you can buy mine for 20. I'd sell it for 20.
I'd be happy to take on trying to get some quotes on mowing and snow blowing, so we have some numbers to look at versus equipment, capital expenditures. And what else
I mean, I did have
talk
one
about.
name, and I've left 2 messages. I got 1 message back, but I didn't connect with,
So if I connect with someone for, let's say, mowing, can I send them to you and you can
can.
give them the scope of the work to quote on?
yeah, all I want is a piece of paper basically to give back to you at the
Right.
next meeting or prior to that if it need be. I think on mowing, and mowing I think is critical to look at for next year. I think on mowing we're probably okay for this year. It being as cold as it is, it might need doing once more, twice more, but I don't think it needs to be done heavy or big.
Right.
If we didn't do it, I don't think it'd be a real tremendous. You get the pumpkin festival coming up, and the grass isn't gonna grow that much. But the snow blowing is, as Kurt says, is strictly, because somebody doesn't really, I mean, they can, but to bring a trailer into town with a little tractor on it, it is probably an eighth of a mile by the time you get out, get all the way up to the doctor, pharmacy, all the way down here. And if you gotta do it twice in one day, then that becomes, but in any case, I don't know. The fire department got room for a tractor in there if we had one?
Well, if they can put a fire truck up to the town barns, they probably do.
Okay.
That's what they've been doing.
Yeah. So, anyway,
Since now-
yeah, if anybody can come up with any names, because I didn't have any and I didn't do cold calls. I had one that Rob gave me and,
I'll make some calls.
okay, yeah.
Currently, how does it work for the snow blowing? Do we call them? Is it, they just,
They just know that it's snowing outside. If they have to do their own driveway, I guess Ryan comes
They
down
do
here and
that.
does this.
Okay.
But he also has other work and sometimes he can get here first thing in the morning. Sometimes it doesn't snow until midday, so waits
Right.
until after hours. We've had that discussion before on the criticality, if that's a word, in front of the high school, because of those sidewalks do get heavily used and all that. But, you know, you can't, unless somebody lives right here in the village and is willing to do it, you can't expect it to be fully maintained. And
yeah, that's my concern is.
that we do it at
Timing
least,
of-
that we do it at least once a storm shows that we've made the effort. Can't really be expecting any more than that.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I guess we'll take that up next time around as well.
But the highway, I guess, is, and just to stick in on that, needs to be informed probably that they're gonna do the sanding and salting. Because as much as the snow blowing, you take the snow off, you end up with ice.
Right.
And whoever's doing snow blowing probably isn't gonna come back with a little spreader full of
That's
sand or
it, yeah.
salt. You know, out in front of this and the stairs, that's one thing, we can catch that during the day if necessary, we do it anyway, because we have to. But I mean, for the main run, if it needs dressing, that's really gotta be kinda on Kurt to bring the truck by and see if he can't shove it up onto the sidewalks a little bit.
Okay. You all have a copy of budget status.
Actually, no, it's a comparison. I do have a budget status report here, anybody can have a copy of. We'll have a clean copy at the end of this quarter, after these warrants are paid. So you'll know where you are at the end of September. Right now, we're not, I mean, Steve pointed out a couple things during the warrants with regard to payroll, but right now, we're in pretty good shape for the first quarter. Haven't bought anything this summer. But your budget status is for fiscal year 2020. And Kathy thinks that's a lucky number somehow, I don't know why. Maybe because she sees an exit sign lighting
I
up
do.
or something. But in any case, that's what we're kind of looking at. So what you have is you have 2 years ago budget, 2 years ago actual, this year's budget, and you don't have any numbers on that one. And then you have blank lines. And
Which we
I
will
don't
fill
know.
in bit by bit.
well, you fill them in bit by bit, think about them, I mean, they are, and they don't change too much year from year, I mean, it's something we can hammer out really quick in a hurry, but then we get into this part of the season where you're saying, well, you wanna spend $5,000 on a bridge you haven't budgeted for, you know, and where are you gonna get the money? We can find the money, but it's gotta come out of something else. And if it doesn't come out of magnesium chloride or something, then it's gotta come out of tires, or, I mean, you gotta find it, so. Not gonna come out of the phone bill.
I don't know.
We're not gonna save $5,000 out of the phone bill this year.
No.
No.
Even if we turn it off.
Well, then, although we signed a contract, so we're still gonna get billed. Okay, so is there any need for an executive session?
I don't have one.
Any other business?
Do we have an update on the heating system for the fire department?
It's done.
It's done.
I don't yet, and we didn't get a bill process for them, so it's probably not gonna get checked this week, but it is done over there. In looking at it pretty seriously after I got the new one in, there are, and I haven't been up there, and I don't know what it looks like, Joe may know better than I. There's a run of steam that goes across and then upstairs, but there's a run of steam that goes around the building. There are 3 vents in that, whatever they are, those little balloon things with a pressure relief valve. The first 2 are plugged, the last one isn't. So
Oh,
they're not the cheap little
right,
cans,
yeah.
half the size of that, but they are pressure relief valves. And apparently the first 2 are inoperable, and they're causing kind of a jam up, a slog of steam to just kind of sit there, and then back pressure onto the board. So anyway, his recommendation was have those replaced, all 3 of them, what the hell? Even if they're $100 a piece, do it, get it
Yeah, if
done.
you're gonna do one, you might as well
If
do
you want, you
all.
might as well do all 3 of them, but there are only 3 of them in the system, and then that should help immensely, so.
Yeah.
He finished up and, I guess you guys talked about it last night or saw it, but anyway, the heat should be on.
Is it possible for you to contact him just to get a quote
On,
on the pressure valves?
Yeah, he's not gonna do it, he's not a plumber, per se,
Okay.
he's heating. But he does have plumbers that work for him. Glenn is gonna take it, Glenn knows about it, so he'll follow.
Oh, okay.
Or Brian, either one.
Okay.
They both know about it, so they'll get a, whatever, they'll just go ahead and do it, I'm sure,
Yeah.
just to get it done before the season starts up in earnest. And, I need to make some calls on oil for here, because we don't have a contract with anybody, or pricing.
Who you getting oil from for the town hall?
We don't know yet, because we haven't bought oil, we're just off gas right now, so we gotta find somebody for oil, so.
But that's gonna be the same as the firehouse was last year until we put the second tank in.
Well, this is a bigger tank, this is 320, and it's gonna fire both boilers, but the boilers, I mean, not the boiler, but the forced hot air should be more efficient than the gas boiler was. That having been said, we're shifted back to oil, I don't know the price of oil, we haven't had oil in 5-6 years, so we'll find out. We'll get some prices and we'll get somebody to deliver, even if we call on the spot market. But there's over half a tank down there right now, so we're in good shape for a little while, depending on how many days we run this 12 hours a day.
Well, that was my next point. One of the things that we
When you
do,
thermostats.
we need to do within the town hall itself is to reset the thermostats and to find out what's wrong with the venting system for the blower, because you cannot hardly breathe in that office or in the dining room, and it's colder than the dickens in that office.
It's 62 there Monday morning.
So
And you
there's,
couldn't raise the thermostat up.
Well, it's not zoned, so turning that thermostat up doesn't, but there is a combination thing that's working. Anyway, I don't understand the thermostatic system.
What's the optimum working temperature?
Huh?
What's your optimum working temperature?
63.
Well, no, it should be up around 70 in the winter. Because when you feel down by them radiators, you won't warm your hands off of them. It's just a little bit of heat coming.
that's because there's really nothing, you can step on it with bare toes, which is what I did when it was on the first time.
But you come out in the hallway and you're sweating.
Right, and
That's the
basically
point.
that office is sitting on top of the furnace, so there's a damper that's shut in the ductwork that's all insulated and wrapped in duct tape.
Right,
It's got to
it
be
needs to
broken
be
out.
open. Yeah.
The vent that's under her desk, we just need to pull the register out, get a mirror, drop a flashlight down, see
what's in
somebody
there.
shoved a jacket in there to cool it down one time, or something, but something's plugged it up. And, because the furnace goes on, paper should blow off her desk, where
Yeah.
she's situated. You know, out here you can see papers moving on the wall when the thing is
Yeah.
blowing. But the problem is in order to get it up to 70 degrees in there, comfortable
It's
for
gotta be
him, it gets up to
110.
85
out here, yeah.
out here. You know, she's got,
Yeah, and it sounds
she's
like
got the window open.
Yeah,
in
it
there.
sounds like it's not just a matter of like closing some of these registers to redivert. It sounds like it's not getting there.
No, it's not, you can literally can't feel air
Yeah.
coming out of
So
the
there's-
registers.
If you go over.
There's a
by
closed
the
damper
door,
or something jammed in there.
Where you come in that
You guys wanna come to work with us?
There's a register just inside the
We can have these
There's
62.
good heat coming out of that.
Yeah, there's air coming out of that one, but the other ones have dampers that are backed off
Yeah.
or something. So we'll figure
You
it out.
don't
Well-
get nothing out of the others.
And I think one of the things that also has to happen, she did begin to do it last year, but I think it needs to be a focus this year, is that during the cold winter months, that front door to the office shouldn't be used. And any entrances into the building should be through the
Through the
main
double
doors.
doors. Yep.
To be able to keep
Yep.
lock the heat into the building.
Yep.
So
Treat it
that
like an
would-
airlock.
Well,
Right.
that was the big remodel design that never came about, but that was something that was gonna save us all kinds of heat. Because
But I
that door shouldn't be used, her access should be off this hallway.
Yeah.
She should even have a window where the pictures are.
Well, but
That-
just for the winter months, if we just,
She don't want them.
Oh, I know, that's why it hasn't happened. She
But
doesn't
just
want
for
it. She'd
the-
have to move her desk.
just for the winter months, I think if we put a sign on the big door that says.
Please use other door.
Please use
Yeah.
other door, and we force everybody into the fire door airlock, it will help immensely with the amount of heat that stays in that front office once we get the heat
Well, every
there.
time you open that door, you lose 2 or 3 degrees and, you know, it's.
And it takes 4 hours to get it back.
All right, if there's nothing else, the next meeting is October 9th.
11?
It says October 9th.
Yeah, okay. I think 11 is.
And if there's no other business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, I can't even see what time it is, so, okay.
7:41.
Okay, perfect. Well, how do you see that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Rob's already gone, so we're done. Thank you.